I'm Brian Van, sportbiketracker.com, and today we're going to break down our Vortex 2.0 adjustable lever install on our 2018 Kawasaki Ninja 400 STG project bike. Okay, the Vortex 2.0 race lever ships disassembled. The reason for that is really simple. The lever itself, okay, this part is universal. It is the knuckle that actually mounts to the bike. So when you get your package, these pieces will not be assembled. We're going to begin by showing you how to put the lever together. It's a very basic process. First thing I want to do is lubricate some of the contact points. Okay, and we'll just have this all done so that even when we're ready to install these on the bike, the pivot points will already be all lubed up and ready to go. We need just a thin film. I'll clean away any excess once we have installed the lever on the bike. So go ahead and do that on both of the knuckles. One for the brake, one for the clutch. Once I've done this, go ahead and wipe away a little bit of excess. Really doesn't take a whole lot of grease to get this. Any type of universal high quality grease is going to get the job done for you. You can see it's really just a thin coating. Kind of wipe away the excess. When I come back, we'll begin bolting the knuckle to the actual lever blade itself. Okay, let's take the bushing that comes with it, slide that in there, okay, make sure it's moving freely, which it is. Here is the fastener, here is the nut along with a little tool that actually holds the nut while we tighten it down. You can see I've already got the lock nut in there. It's really important to note that this portion of the nut, the locking portion of the nut, has to face away from the lever in order for that to work. We've got our spring here. The spring will drop right down in the hole that's machined into the actual lever blade itself. Then we'll take the knuckle, slide it in like so. Here we're going to have to put just a little bit of pressure, right, to compress that spring. And I'll push the fastener through like so. Okay. Now we'll put the nut on. Just going to hold that in place. Got a 4mm T-handle. Go ahead and torque that down. You want to make sure that moves freely. Now we'll do the other side. Drop this down into the lever. Slide that over. Push it through. Let's get the nut on there. Torque it down. Want to make sure this is all moving freely. And now we're ready to remove the OE levers from the bike. Okay, levers are all assembled, ready to go. It's a really simple process, right? Just like I said earlier, the blade itself, that is universal. That blade's the same blade. You know, the long blade, the short blade, it's these knuckles that are bike specific. It just makes manufacturing just a whole lot more streamlined, okay? Removing the brake lever on the Ninja 400, we have a lock nut that is underneath the pivot bolt. That is a 10mm lock nut. Need to remove that first. In order to remove it, we have to have a backup wrench up here on the bolt. Right there. Break it loose. And go ahead and thread it off. Like so. And we'll take out the bolt. This bolt also threads into the master cylinder body. It's really important that you use the bolt that comes with the lever as well as that lock nut on the bottom. Do not discard that lock nut. That's a safety to help prevent this bolt from ever coming out. Here's your OE lever. It's a very basic design on this Ninja 400. We're going to go ahead and get just a little bit of grease to lubricate the flat spot inside the master, right where it contacts the lever, the flat here, where it contacts that lever. Just a tiniest little bit of grease here is going to get that done. Real thin film will wipe away any excess, of course. I'll get my pinky in there and just kind of spread that around a little bit. Okay, good to go. Now we'll grab our brake lever. Remember, we've already lubricated the contact point there. Go ahead and make sure it's engaged with our brake light switch, which is right here. Here's the tab that does that. Just kind of slide it in. And then you'll have to reposition the lever just a little bit, kind of wiggle it around until you get that pivot bolt to drop down. Like so. Now we're ready to run that down. This is the short lever that we're showing you here. They also have a long blade that's more OE length. Go ahead and torque that. You can see as I'm doing that, I'm just kind of squeezing the brake lever to make sure it's releasing. Everything is nice and smooth. Just double check the adjuster. That's all working good. Now the lock nut. Get that installed here on the bottom. Finger tight. And then I'll hold it with a backup wrench. We'll torque that down. Just a quarter drive ratchet. Small fastener does not require a ton of torque. Okay, nice and tight. You can see as you move the adjuster over to the right side, draws the lever closer to the bar. The further left you adjust it, it increases the distance between the lever blade and the grip. Double check everything, looks good and smooth. Now we'll go over to the clutch side. Okay, over here on the clutch side, very similar process. We still have that 10 mil lock nut on the bottom. Let me begin by removing that from the bike. Okay, we need to back off the clutch cable in order to replace the clutch lever. We're going to do that right now. Let's take the lock nut for the clutch cable adjuster. We're going to back that off, and then we're going to rotate the adjuster itself in towards the clutch perch. We need to line up the slot in the lock as well as the adjuster with the slot that is here in the clutch perch. You'll notice that when I rotate the lock back, that doesn't line up all the way with this, so it's going to kind of restrict how far we're able to back off the clutch cable adjuster. Let's get everything lined up. It's going to be right about there. Okay. Now we can take and remove the fastener, pivot fastener for the clutch lever itself. It's just a 10 mil. From here, slide this out, and you're able to pass the cable through the slot in the perch as well as the adjuster. Turn the lever over and slide out the clutch cable itself. Make sure you leave this nylon sleeve on your OE clutch cable. You're going to reuse that, of course, with your aftermarket lever. Okay, just like we did on the brake side, before we install the lever, we're gonna put a thin film of grease on the flats where they come in contact with the lever knuckle itself. It just helps make sure everything's gonna be as smooth as it can be. Use my finger to kind of spread that around a little bit, wipe up any excess off after the installation, of course. We've already prepped the lever. Go ahead and, you know what, while we're at it, we're going to take and put just a little bit of grease inside here where the clutch cable is held. Make sure that's nice and smooth as well. Okay, and then let's go ahead and line this up. Dip it in. Rotate the clutch lever over. Be aware of the finger here that's going to push on that clutch switch. When you put this all together, you want to make sure that you're pushing in on the clutch switch to collapse it and not over, possibly breaking off the engagement pin. Now let's get the clutch cable and pass it through the adjuster, and then of course into the body of the adjuster itself, then through the perch. Let's grab that clutch switch, get that engaged, pivot pin. Let's get this started. Now we can run it down. This does not require a ton of torque. So what we're going to do is, as we're torquing this down, make sure that we're not creating any tension here. We're not squeezing, because you could collapse this clutch perch. It's a pretty lightweight aluminum piece. If you over tighten this fastener, you don't want to do that. So there's good torque there. Now we can get the lock nut that installs from the bottom side. We'll start it by hand, run it down as far as we can. I'll put the backup wrench on the pivot. Once I've done that, we'll use the quarter drive ratchet to tighten that up. A little bit tighter here than on the brake side. Okay, now that it's seated, we can go ahead and torque it. Make sure you hold the backup wrench firmly and torque the lock nut like so. Okay, we're not done on this side. We have to adjust the clutch cable. This is a really, really important step. If you do not adjust this correctly, right, if you leave the clutch cable too tight, you could burn up the clutch because it won't allow the clutch to fully engage. So super important step. Notice all the free play in the lever right now. That's excessive. We're going to go ahead and turn the adjuster out, which is effectively lengthening the body of the cable until we've gotten that into an acceptable range. Some riders prefer it to be, wider range of free play. Others want it smaller. The most important thing is that you have enough free play here, the clutch is able to engage 100%, okay? We're getting pretty close. I like it right there. Make sure you tighten up the adjuster lock, like so. From here, make sure the lever, there's no obstructions, it's not coming in contact with your housing, your switch housing. Check the adjuster, make sure everything is free and clear, working smoothly. Double check the clutch cable again. With any controls, after you've modified them, go ahead and sweep the bars, make sure there are no contact points with the bodywork, so on and so forth. Everything with the controls has to be perfect. Okay, now that we've got the levers on the bike, we've got them dialed into the place where we want them. Okay, we verified there's no contact with the bodywork. Let's take it for a test drive. Make sure everything is good to go. Before you go out on a big ride, do a short ride first, then come back, double check your work, to make sure you're good to go. And don't be afraid to do that, say, after the first 500 miles or so, to verify everything is tight and nothing's backed off. I'm assuming with the Ninja 400 that a lot of riders are gonna be putting these levers on. It might be the first time they've ever done that on a motorcycle, and it never hurts to double check your work. You can really avoid some serious situations down the road by just revisiting it as a maintenance item itself. The Vortex 2.0 levers are a quality part. They're made here in the US. They're available in 2 different lengths. We're showing you the short length right now. There's also a longer length. Black is the color we have on this bike. There's also a titanium blade that's available, okay? The knuckle color itself will always be black, regardless if you've chosen a black lever or a titanium lever. There you have it. These are the Vortex 2.0 levers installed on our 2018 SDG Kawasaki Ninja 400 project bike.